All right, so today we're going to continue talking about parallel and perpendicular. So we're going to start with a quick review. Okay, which equation is parallel to the following equation? 8x plus 2y is equal to a negative 10. I need to know what the slope of this line is in order to figure out which of the four down here is parallel. So first thing I'm going to do is subtract 8x from both sides, and I get 2y is equal to negative 8x minus 10. Divide both sides by 2, because remember we're trying to isolate y, and we get y is equal to negative 8 divided by 2 is a negative 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So, what is my slope? Okay, well, my slope for this one here is a negative 4. So which of my four equations has a slope of negative 4? Well, the slope of A is negative 1. So that doesn't match, right? Remember, parallel has to be the same slope. B has a slope of negative 4. So B would be my answer. And we can double check this by looking at C. Well, that's a negative 1/4. And D has a positive 2. So those. All right, so now we're going to look at this one. Okay, so we got which equation is perpendicular to the following. All right, so we did solve this one on the last one, and I'm going to go ahead and solve it again. So minus 8x on both sides, and I get 2y equals negative 8x minus 10. Divide both sides by 2, and y is equal to negative 4x minus 5. All right, so now we're looking for a perpendicular slope. So my slope here, right, is negative 4. Well, what is the perpendicular slope? So remember, perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So the perpendicular slope I need is going to be, well, remember, whole numbers can be written over 1. So we flip our fraction. I'm going to move this down. So we flip our fraction, so that means the 1 becomes the numerator, the 4 becomes the denominator, and we change the sign. So instead of being negative, it's going to be positive. So which of my 4 has a positive 1/4 slope? Okay, that would be C. Okay, it's the only one. So when you're asked to find a parallel or perpendicular, look at the slopes. Parallel will have the same, perpendicular will have opposite reciprocal slopes. All right, so now we're just going to look at determining if a line is parallel on a graph. So from a graph, I need the slope from the current one, right? So I'm going to count my rise, which in this one is 2, and my run is 3. So my slope for this is 2 over 3. So if we're looking at a parallel line, I want the slope to be exactly the same. So of my 4 here, which is parallel? Well, looking at the slopes, right, that's the number in front of x. Which one has the same slope? A. Okay, we'll look at another one. All right, so find our rise and our run. This time we're looking for perpendicular. So I get a negative 2/3 for my slope. So remember, with perpendicular, we're going to flip the fraction and change the sign. So when I flip my fraction, I get 3/2. It's negative, so my slope needs to be positive. So looking at my choices here, which slope is the opposite reciprocal of 2/3? Okay, that would be B, positive 3/2.